management. One has a deep understanding of the hiring landscape and the skills and attributes that employers value in candidates. Today, Iwan will be covering two key topics: RBC's culture and organizational structure, and the hiring process at RBC. These are essential areas to understand for anyone looking to build a career with RBC or in the broader banking industry. I'm sure you will find today's session valuable. And with that, I would like to invite Iwan to begin. Iwan?
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful day so far, and thank you, Lily, for the warm welcoming, and then thank you for giving me this opportunity to, talk about RBC, talk about our recruitment process, as well as share some my tips and tricks when it comes to the resume building, as well as the interview preparing. So before we start, I actually wanted to talk about RBC first. RBC, we are one of the Canada's biggest bank and among the largest in the world based on the market capitalization. We have more than 97,000 full-time and part-time employees who served 17 million clients in Canada, the States, and 27 other countries. We named the North American Retail Banking of the Year for the third consecutive years. We are one of the North America's leading diversified financial service company and provide personal and commercial banking, wealth management, insurance, investor service, and capital market products and the service on the global basis. So here are the main line of business we have. As I mentioned, we have a personal and commercial banking. As of November, it will be personal banking and the commercial banking. You probably saw the announcement on news a few weeks ago with all the changes in the RBC. And then we also have a wealth management, insurance, capital market, investor, and a treasury service, as well as the technology and operation line of business. We also have the function team supporting all those 5 line of business. And the HR, my team, is part of the function team. I also wanted to touch base on the career path in the retail banking, which is one of the line of business I support. We have a client advisor, and then we can start with the client advisor once you get familiar. And after the training program, you will become a client advisor. You can also start with the banking advisor role if you have the skills in the sales environment, and then move towards to the financial advisor, financial intern. You can also go horizontally, go to the mortgage specialist. IRP stands for investment retirement planner, and then more FPA stands for the financial planner as well. If you're interested in the leadership role, you can move towards to the assistant branch manager, community manager as well. If you're interested in the sales field, you can go to our business financial service, which includes our relationship manager for the business market, as well as the relationship for the commercial market. If you're interested outside the retail banking, you can go to the advice center role as well. So here's just wanted to quickly touch base on the accreditation for each role in the retail banking. As a client advisor, you don't have to have any accreditation to join RBC. When you become more proficient in the role, and then wanted to looking into the banking advisor role, you do need to have an IFIC or CSC. Once you become more familiar with the role, you want to be the financial advisor. At that time, you needed to have a DFSA. DFSA includes financial planning 1 and the PFSA, personal financial service associates advisor. And then you can go to, from there, you can move to the financial planner role or IRP role, which you will need a PFP or CFP or QAFP. QAFP is for the individual lives in CPAC area. So I also wanted to just touch base on the client advisor, the banking advisor, a little bit further. For the client advisor role, it is a part-time or full-time role. We provide 6 weeks of full-time training. The work arrangement is around 20 hours to 37.5 hours per week. As a client advisor role, you need to be mobile to market. We have 12 markets in the Greater Toronto area. So you needed to be able to mobile to markets, meaning you are agreed to be trained and then placed anywhere in the 2 markets. Depends on where you live. For the banking advisor role, it is a full-time position. We provide 12 weeks training, full-time training. And as I mentioned before, you needed to have an IFIC or CSE. The last 4 weeks of a training for the banking advisor is only open to the individual with the IFIC or CSE. As a banking advisor, you needed to be a regional resource. We have 4 regions in the Greater Toronto area. We have a Central Toronto, West Toronto, East Toronto, and North Toronto. By committing to the quadrant, you agree to be able to fully mobile to all the branches in the region. So here's the recruitment process in RBC. Generally speaking, we will ask all the candidates to apply online. So you need to have apply the position on our digital platform. You can go check all the opportunities on the RBC/career. And then our recruiter will go through your application and then shortlist the individual, and then we will send the questionnaires for the individual to complete. If you're successful, then the recruiter will schedule a 30-minute phone interview with the individuals. If you're successful with the recruiter, we will put you forward to meet hiring managers. In Greater Toronto, we have a panel interview format, and then we also have a group interview format. Panel interview format meaning the individual will meet 2 hiring managers, and the group interview format meaning we are going to schedule 3 hours out of your time, and we have different activities in that 3 hours, and then we will make a decision on the spot. We will make a hiring decision on the spot. So that is the recruitment process. Now I'm going to very quickly share some new stats. This is based on the 2023 updated stats. On average, we will receive around 250 applications per posting, and over 80% of resume don't make it past to the first screening, meaning there is only 1 in 10 application gets to a hiring manager, and then less than 3% of resume will have 3% of candidates will have the opportunity to land a job interview. There are 70% resume are not qualified because of formatting, content, or lack of the keywords. Recruiters or hiring manager usually spends around 6 to 8 seconds to review a resume. 3 in 10 resume are rejected or have an unprofessional email address, and the ideal length of resume is between 475 to 600 words, which is less than 2 pages. Now I'm going to talk about more on the resumes. But before we doing the resume section, I actually wanted to talk about the cover letter. You probably have a questions in your mind is, do I really need a cover letter, right? But let's start with, both cover letter and the resume are marketing tools. It helps you to stand out among the other applications. So what is resume? Resume is must have. For most of the role, we request you to include your resume. So resume include all your qualifications. A resume list all your work experience, your past work, your qualification, your career wins. And the resume tells why you are qualified for the position. A cover letter is not necessary unless it is especially asked you to include it. But in most of the case, it is your best interest to include a cover letter with your resume. It shows you care about the position and it can help you to make your application stand out from the competitors. A cover letter is a professional document used to introduce yourself to a hiring manager and explain why you want a specific job. The purpose of a cover letter is to prove why your qualifications makes you the best fit for the job opening. You have the opportunity to showcase a little bit about your personality, further summarize your resumes, and emphasize why you are interested in and the right fit for the job. In a nutshell, resume shows the hiring manager how your experience fits the role, and a cover letter tells them why it is. So now I'm going to focus on the resume. It doesn't matter what kind of resume format you wanted to use. The resume should include contact information. The contact information part is you needed to include your name, your email address, your the city you live, the address you have, and also you can include your social media platform. But I would suggest you to include only professional social media platform such as LinkedIn. The summary is, I call it a movie trailer of your resume. It is where you highlight upfront most important things about you. This section could be a brief paragraph, which I think 3 to 5 sentences is enough to showcase the value you bring by highlighting your skills and a couple of your big career wins, as I mentioned. You should also incorporate the right keywords, matching your skill section to what appears in your job posting, and especially if the job posting has a specific requirement for the certificates or for the experience required for the role. And then professional experience, you needed to focus on your accomplishment rather than your day-to-day responsibility. The reason is very simple. We all know what each of us have a responsibility. So including any accomplishment, anything
Currently,
can help
I'm
you to
a
stand
college
out.
student majoring
For
in
the
English.
education piece, we needed
And
to
what do you like
include the
most
most
about your
reasons,
studies?
all the highest
Well, English
education.
literature takes my fancy most.
Okay, let's move on to talk
Here's the
about
do's
singing.
and then here's
Okay,
the
so
don'ts.
do you like singing?
I think it's
why?
very important.
Yes, I do, but sad to say,
to not
I don't have a
to
good
make
singing
sure
voice,
your
and
cover letter
I'm
and
kind of tone
resume
deaf.
just to
But
the
that doesn't
right
stop me from
company.
loving singing. I mean, it is a good
very
way
funny.
to relieve my stress and
Very
recharge my
recent
batteries.
case. My
And who do you
team
want to
just
sing
shared
for?
To be honest,
resume,
I just want to sing for
yesterday.
myself. Like I
Someone
said,
applied for a
I
job
don't
at
have
RBC.
a good singing
However,
voice, and my
on the
voice is
resume,
monotone,
it
and I
adjusts
can't
to
carry a
another
tune.
So
So
that's a big
basically,
no-no
I would
for
just
us.
sing for myself.
So make sure on
Okay,
your
let's
cover
talk
letter
now
or
about
resume
birthdays.
has
Do
right
you think it's important?
company's information there. And I think it's a common sense to always tailor your resume. Again, make sure you read the job description a couple of times. Make sure you know what are the skills, what are the experience requirement for the role, and then you tailor your resume I think it's always good to have a different version of a resume for the job you apply for. So please make sure read job description and tailor your resume. Again, make sure the resume includes all your accomplishments. Keep in mind, as I mentioned before, we spend only 6 to 8 seconds to read resume. Make sure your resume has all the relevant experience, the education, anything can prove you are the right fit for this position. Another thing I said I wanted to make sure you know is please do not include any picture of you or any irrelevant information on the resume. Last things, you don't need to include a reference on your resume because we have a team doing the background check and then we only conduct those checks after we extend a formal offer. So you don't need to including any reference on your resume, and then you can save that spot for more important information. As I mentioned, the resume should be less than 2 pages. You probably need that space for any for other important things. So here's the don'ts I will share with you, and then here is the resume we think is a good, and again includes all the information, personal information, name, address, contact information, and then highlight the key skills match the job description. And then in the work experience, it highlights all the achievements. Here you see 27%, over 10,000 downloads, 3,000 new leads. So please include all those achievements, accomplishment in the experience, as well as the job, the education piece. So here are example of a good resume. But again, you can customize your resume based on the job you apply, and based on your experience and skill set, you can provide it. I also wanted to talk about more on the interview. So once you have a strong resume, you land with an interview. Land with an interview. Preparing for the interview is super important. First and foremost, try to stay calm. During the interview, try to relax and stay as calm as possible. Remember that your body language say as much as about you, and your answer to the question needs to be to the point. Keep your back straight, keep your shoulder back, and then do not cross your arms. You also needed to practice for the interview. So do some research. Do some research about the job. Do some research about the company. If you know who's going to interview, you can also research about that individual. You can find us on the LinkedIn, and you can take a look at the recruiters or hiring managers, their career path, and then find some common grounds. Maybe you graduate from the same school, maybe you worked for the same company before, or even have the same volunteer experience. So do some research about a company. You can also practice some common questions, right? Such as, why are you interested in this role? What skills you can bring to the team, and what is your career accomplishment. So be prepared and then practice. And then if you can practice in front of your friends, your family member, get some constructive feedback to help you to improve your interview skills. And also make sure you be ready ahead of a time. Make sure you pick the right clothes. I think it's always good to leave the first impression. The first impression can be lasting impression. And then people usually judge others based on the first impression. And then you only have, based on the research shows, you only have less than 7 seconds to impress someone. So make sure you dress properly for the event, for the interview. have a professional clothes for the interview. Make sure there's no stain, there's no wrinkle, and also make sure the clothes fits you. When it comes to arrive on time, I wanted to mention that I think it's always common sense to be there a little bit early, right? You needed to prepare for the interview. It also help you to calm down. So be there, I would say around, if you're going to join in-person interview, be there at least 10 to 15 minutes early. If you're not familiar with the location, you can even do some research, go to the place you're going to be interviewed a day or 2 days before to make sure you know how long gonna take you to go there. What are the problem you might, the travel, always put the extra buffer time there. You never know how long gonna take you to go there. The traffic, the weather, all gonna take that into the consideration. And also, if you are doing a virtual meeting interview, I would recommend you to only log in 1 or 2 minutes early, because we might use the same link for other meetings, so you don't need to log in like a 10 to 15 minutes early. And during the interview, make sure you answer the questions to the point. You make sure you tell the recruiters or tell the hiring manager what happened, what did you do, what value and you can add it to the team. And also, once you finish the interview, you can also ask some strong question back to the hiring manager, to the recruiter, to demonstrate your interest in the role, your interest in the company. So I won't recommend you to ask any questions such as, what does my compensation looks like? How many vacations do I have in the first round of interview? You can definitely ask those questions once you receive the verbal offer. But ask a more meaningful question can actually help you to stand out among the other candidates. So please make sure you can also do some research about the questions. You can ask questions such as, what does my career goal looks like? What does the career path looks like? What are my internal, external stakeholder looks like? How are you going to evaluate my performance? Asking those meaningful questions. After doing the interview, you can feel free to follow up with the hiring manager and the recruiters. You can send a thank you email to the recruiters or hiring manager to highlight your achievement, to make sure the recruiter and the hiring manager know what value you can bring to the tables, and also ask them if there's anything you can support them or any other material you can provide it to them to make sure you are on top of the other candidates. If you don't hear anything from the hiring manager and the recruiter, you can also send a follow-up email. I would say give the hiring manager or recruiter a week or so, and you can send another follow-up email, say, hey, I'm still interested. Let me know if there's any other material I can provide it. To ensure they know you're still interested, and then they will keep you in their mind when it comes to the decision making. This is what we usually do in RBC. And then there is a difference between the interview with the recruiter and the hiring manager. So when you have a conversation with the recruiter, it's more for validated information, and we usually will ask what is your language capability, and confirm the mobility of your availability. Again, why are you interested? Why did you leave your previous recruiter? Are you going to go back to school? And ask some behavioral questions. And then if you're successful, you have a chance to meet a hiring manager. It's more assess your organization fit, your team fit, and also some softer skills. Focus on what is your long-term career goal, what would you like to do, how this team can help you to go to the next role. Ask you some scenario questions, how you manage the conflict between with the clients or with your peers, and also ask you, it's also assess your communication and the professionalism. So actually I've done my slides and I'm gonna stop sharing. Is there any questions for me? Any specific questions in your mind? Anything I can, clear the air, maybe talk more about waters. Okay, I saw a hands up. Harry?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a question. Is it related to the instruction avoid? You mentioned the resume will be rejected because of unprofessional email. Can you explain a little bit more about that one?
So I would say, unprofessional email. We saw, for example, Harry loves cat.com,
yeah.
right? So those are kind of not professional. I would recommend you to register a professional email address for finding a job, a purpose, right? Let's say Harry, I don't know your last name, harry.b@gmail.com.
Okay.
So you can use that for more professional, for more formal purpose.
Okay, yeah, that's a very great tip as well. Thank you very much. A lot of useful from ABC.
Thank you. Thank you.
About the ATS system, can you explain more some kind of resume one past the ATS system?
This is a good question. So I think, there is always, that's why, when I mentioned that you needed to tailor your resume, it's so important, right? Read through the job description. RBC are doing amazing job is, I'm not sure if you check the RBC posting.
Mm-hmm.
We have a must-have and then we have a nice-to-have skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you read through all those job description and then make sure your resume tailored to what we list on the must-have and the nice-to-have. So it will, like, as I mentioned, remember I said we usually spend less than 8 seconds
Mm-hmm.
to read the resume. So we kind of screen through all those keywords, right? If we say on the job description, you needed to have a customer service experience. If I don't see it on your resume, probably we will, move towards another individual whose resume has those keywords, then just, shortlist to you. So make sure you read through all those job description and incorporate your resume with the keywords we put on the job description. So one thing I wanted to share is I'm leading a team of 14 recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
My ask to my team is they needed to read through every single resume. So it's very important to ensure your resume has the keywords, has the skills, experience we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It will give you more chance to move on to the next stage.
Yeah.
So always read through the resume. Sorry, always read through the job description and then highlight the keywords.
Thank you. You a lot. I can have one more question. I didn't see in your slide mention about how the hiring from ABC doing, because in some company they have different sorts of application. Some soft come from the inside, example like some networking. Some people in working on the ABC introduce their friend or some reference. Some other from. Do you have any example how ABC give diverse divide the application from different sources of the? If you put on the web, maybe you can get some other reference from somewhere else and some agent as well. Can you give me a little bit information about that as well?
So Harry, if I
I mean,
read
yeah, I mean,
correctly, you're referring to the networking?
yeah, but generally, how do you select the applicant? Whether you select the applicant through the reference or all the from the web?
Okay, so your question is more about the referrals,
Yeah.
right? So obviously, we trust our employees, right? So if someone referred the others, we were definitely looking into it, but it's not necessary we will, land a job to those referrals. If they don't have the skill set or if they don't have the experience we're looking for, they won't be my, preferred candidates. So referrals important, networking is important. They can give you a shortcut. They can provide you the opportunity to at least put forward your resume in front of the hiring manager and the recruiter. However, you still needed to have the skills and the experience for the role in order for us to give you the offer.
Thank you for a lot of useful information.
No problem. All right. Peggy, I saw your hands up.
Hello, but there's two persons before me, two people before me, so I will let them.
Oh, I don't know who.
Yeah, next one is Carrie.
Oh, Carrie, sorry about that.
Okay, thank you for your sharing the RBC, the hiring, the information. My question is regard just by end of the interview, how to ask the employer, how to ask the hiring manager the question to show me is I very interested in this job. Just you give this some the information. Can you give more detail how to ask at the end of this interview? Do you so always hire manager ask me, and do you have any question? I always give the question is not well, and can you give me more example?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned before, if the hiring manager asks, say, "Hey, Carrie, do you have any questions for me?" You can say, "Yes, Yvonne, I'm really interested this position, and thank you for taking the time to interview with me. Here are my questions. What is my career development path? Where are the opportunity in RBC, right? What is the next role for this job? What are the top skills you are looking for this individual? How this individual is being evaluated year end? What does the KPI looks like? Who will be my stakeholders? So this type of questions to demonstrate you are interested in this role. You wanted to develop in this team. You wanted to grow in the organization.
Just you are give this example. What is the difference from the previous elevator pitch? So I have some the information is a little similar. How to make the difference?
Elevator pitch is it's a 30 to 60 seconds to talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you will say, let's say, my name is Yvonne Zhen. I've been working for RBC for almost 10 years. I used to support the personal commercial banking, retail banking role, as well as the national office. I'm leading a talent acquisition team to support the personal banking, commercial banking, and the private banking across Canada right now. I'm passionate to connecting with the peoples. I'm consider myself as a professional matchmaker. I help the individual and the stakeholder to find the best. So that's my elevator pitch. The question you ask is different. It's not elevator pitch. It is demonstrate your interest in the company and your interest in this role.
Okay, let me do some research how to answer this question. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can Google it. But I think the question is more important is demonstrate why you are interested in this role, why you're interested in this team.
Okay, good idea. Okay, let me to learn this one. Okay, thank you.
No problem. I don't know who's the next one, but
Giovanni is next one.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Juan, for all your tips and sharing with us all the useful information. I just had like I guess two small questions. So basically, I have a background in finance, so I've worked in banking for around 4.5 years in my home country, in mid-office roles, and then I've also completed my IFIC. So can I directly apply to like banking advisor intern positions, or but I don't have any like customer experience, customer service experience in Canada. So I mean, can I directly apply as a banking advisor intern, or is it more advisable from like a recruitment perspective to go through client advisor? That's the first question. Secondly, like if I can apply, then what kind of skills and experience can I highlight that would be better for me to land the job?
So the first, to answer your first question, yes, you can apply for the banking advisor directly. To answer the second question is the banking advisor, this role is more focused on providing advice to the customer, right? To identify customers' financial needs and then providing a solution to help the customer to meet their financial needs. So based on that, we're looking for individual with a customer service experience, regardless it's in Canada or outside of Canada, because those are transferable skills. Doesn't matter which country you come from or you're dealing with person. So those are transferable skills. So we're looking for people with a client-facing experience, ideally. We're looking for an individual with, some sales background. The reason is if you never worked in a environment as a sales target, the learning curve will be deep, right? But keep in mind, we provide a 12 weeks training program. So we will coach you, we will help you we will set you up for success. But you also need everyone has a different learning pace, right? Some quick learners, some might take a little bit longer. It really depends on you, like how many hours you can allocate to learn. If you don't have the customer service experience, if you don't have the sales experience. At the end is about you. What would you like to do? I gave a presentation 2 days ago to internals. The first step is what is your long-term career goal? What would you like to do, say, in 5 years, right? And then what job can help you to meet your long-term career goal? If you say, I wanted to be a financial planner in 5 years, so what job can you do to help you to become a financial planner? It probably the position is a financial advisor, right? So then what job can help you to lead to the financial advisor as a banking advisor? So I will ask you a question is, what is your long-term career goal? Does the banking advisor help you to reach out to your long-term career goal?
Yeah, that really helps. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Who's the next one?
Yes.
Hi, Yvonne.
Oh, Peggy. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for your information and sharing. And I have two questions here. Is the first one, you mentioned accomplishment I need to put on in my resume. Am I clear to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You put
Okay.
your accomplishment, your achievement, your career wins on the resume.
Okay. So, because in my previous experience, I was an auditor in the accounting firm for 7 years, and I have because there's many like new policies and new digital methods I need to adapt with. So I'm always the first one. My manager or my boss will put me to learn the first launchment of this new policy or new technology. That would be a accomplishment, because I don't see any any accomplishment or achievements I did in my previous field. So I would like to, maybe you can give me some examples that I can uh, uh, modify my experience in my resume. Okay.
So Peggy, I think auditing is very important, right? Auditing team is the essential for the company to, when it comes to compliance. So I would say that's your biggest achievement. You know, by doing the auditing, you help the company to mitigate so many risks, right? Because it's important to have an auditing team. We've been audited. I've been audited every week for the posting. So the team help to audit our posting, help us to, you know, avoid any risk in the future. Help us to ensure there's no errors on the job posting. Help us to prevent any legal issue in the future. So that's your accomplishment.
Oh, okay. And thank you for your suggestion. And the second one is because we are here is a new immigrant here, so we barely has a Canadian experience. Even we have the Canadian experience, it's an entry level job. It's an entry level position. So, and the other one is maybe we don't have enough time and budget to get certificate here. So, what would you see this gap, and how would you recommend us to strengthen our resume in the cover letter?
So as I mentioned, the difference between the cover letter and the resume, right? Cover letter is to tell the hiring manager why you are interested and why you're the right fit for the job. The resume is list all the qualification you have for the job. So that's a two different reasons why you need a cover letter. Sorry, there's a different reason why you should include in cover letter and the resume. What's the purpose for cover letter and the resume? But your question is, as a newcomer, how can make you stand out, right? If you don't have Canadian experience or minimum Canadian experience. So I'm gonna tell you the same advice I give it to my mentees, because I've been mentor, the newcomers for 2 years already. So I'm gonna give you the same advice. As I give it to Shivan before, what is your career goal? Peggy, what would you like to do? Right? So as a newcomer, obviously sometimes you might not be able to find same level of job in Canada comparing to your previous job. So are you willing to start a level lower? Or what would you do you have, or do you want to start your career in a completely different field? So you needed to ask your question first. What would you like to do? Based on that, you can create an action plan, right? You can start it with the networking. I think the networking is very important. Learn from others' career path. I'm pretty sure there is people, also newcomer, new to the Canada, and they found their job in 2 years later. So ask them, how did they get their job, right? As you don't need to have a certificate for every single job, because first you might not have the time, you might not have the money to do that, right? And then it might not necessary. It might not be able to help you to stand out. But again, leverage your CPAC. Those associates can definitely help you to move forward your career. But more important is networking with the right person and identify your career path.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much for your advice.
No problem. Anytime.
Next one. Please go ahead.
Hi. I think I am the last one. The previous questions are so helping to mine, and I changed my question during that period. Thanks for that session, first of all. And I have strong experience in on my country in banking sector. I worked for the line of businesses, first line defense, but I want to change my position in Canada. I am so newcomer. I would like to work as second or third line of defense because my responsibilities was so related, comply with the regulation, and I lead this lots of projects to reporting and data quality, data privacy, other things. So I would like to see I would like to look at these responsibilities from a different perspective. And also I am so ready to get responsibilities as a lower level because I was senior manager in my country. I know that it is too tough to find that level, and also I would like to learn the different parties. What is your suggestions or what is your advice on that point?
So first, to answer your question regarding regarding the second and third line, right? So
yeah.
Each company's compliance regulatory are different. So
you are right.
You needed to understand. Yes, you probably a senior manager in your country before your own country's regulatory and the compliance policy. When you move to Canada, we have different compliance, different regulatory. Even within the North American, our compliance, our banking compliance auditing policy is different than US. So you needed to take the time to learn what is Canadian compliance regulatory looks like. And then you can decide whether you should continue working towards this area, or maybe it's a time for you to switch to a different direction. It depends on your own personal financial situation. Do you have enough time, and then do you have enough money to support you? Right?
Okay.
So sometimes you might need to switch. Unfortunately, you might need to switch to different field because you just don't have enough time, or there's nothing, no one can support you, right? Why you're looking for. That's an unfortunate situation. But I would say, again, back to what I'm saying, like you need to find what is the job you wanted to do, and then work backwards. Let's say you wanted to be AML, you wanted to be compliant in the future. So you might need to start with the retail banking first, and then because you work in the retail banking, you understand what are we looking for in the banking industry in Canada. Then gradually move to the back office, the compliance, the AML, right? Because you have the experience in the previous company, you have the skill set towards that. The only thing you don't have is the knowledge. So you needed to gain the knowledge in order for you to go back to the AML, right? The compliance. So I think probably you needed to, again, step into those fields first, and then work towards to gain the experience, and then you can move to the AML or the compliance or the regulatories.
Okay, it is so helpful for me. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Hi, Yvonne. This is Frankie. So thanks for your
hello,
sharing.
Frankie.
And I have a question that I actually applied for the client advisor role and the banking advisor role that you mentioned. And sadly, I couldn't pass the screening for the client advisor, but I did pass for the banking advisor. And then I had a phone interview with the HR, but instead I only had 5 minutes questions about what language I'm proficient in, do I have the CSC that you mentioned, and then the call is done, and then I received that I'm not a perfect match with the position. So I'm just wondering, what's the advice to me that if I would, really like to enter this industry, should I be continue to try to apply, or I should be working towards those funds accreditation, or so yeah, just would like to know what's your advice to me that if I would like to join this industry. And just to give you a little bit background of me, I was a real estate valuation specialist for around 6 to 7 years.
So Frankie, let me ask you a question. The 5 minutes interview you did with the RBC or with the other bank?
RBC.
And then did you apply for the banking advisor retail role, or you're outside the retail role?
Banking advisor. What do you mean?
We have a banking advisor in the advice center. We have a banking advisor in the retail. Like, did you apply the role in the retail?
Yep.
And then you only, the recruiter only had 5 minutes with you?
Yep.
And then who is the recruiter?
Maybe I'll let you know privately in the chat box.
Yeah, I mean, let me know who's the recruiter. But to answer your questions, it's very important. The reason I'm asking those questions is we do proper interview.
Mm-hmm.
So we will give you enough time to showcase your achievement.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes is not enough.
Yeah, she didn't
to showcase anyone's, to success, right? So again, that's what the reason I'm asking you. But definitely share the name with me. I will look into it. But generally speaking, if you're looking to be success in the interview, first you needed to have the skills, right? I mean, you said you're working the real estate before, so definitely you have a client-facing experience, right? And then you just needed to prepare for the interview, dress properly for the interview, understand what we're looking for, right? Read through the job description. If you're saying we need you to have a strong customer service experience, you probably needed to have an example to support that. So what are the exceptional customer service you provided? How you identify customers' needs by asking probing questions. What kind of probing questions you ask? What is we're probably gonna do some role play, right, with you. How you ask, like we wanted to assess what type of question you ask, how you assess the probing questions. And then we're probably gonna ask you some questions about the team working, right? Because RBC, we're very focused on the team, one RBC, so we support each other. So we wanted to assess your team player traits and skills or capability. And then we're probably gonna ask you some questions how you deal with the conflict in a retail banking role, in a client-facing role, conflicts exist, right? Conflicts inevitable. So it's very important to have an example to support how you deal with those conflicts. All those questions will help you or to be more prepared for the interview.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
The last question is almost 1 hour. Okay. Anyone? I unmute. Okay. Please go ahead, up top.
Hello, yeah, thank you. It was very informative. So I have a quick question. My background, like I did my master in mass communication, and previously I have a experience in journalism, like in storytelling. And here at Canada, like I'm trying to get a job. I did some certification in media and mass communication, but yet I didn't find a job. So now I'm thinking to switch like my field or do something else. So what's your suggestion to people like me who want to switch? So is I have any opportunity in banking sector or no?
So depends on the job, right? So I mean, we also have a marketing team. In RBC, we have a marketing team. So I don't know, like I don't support a marketing team, so I don't know what's the opening right now in RBC, but you can definitely apply for it. And I think the marketing is an essential department for all the all the companies, right? Because you needed to have a marketing strategy to attract more customers. So marketing is important. I will suggest you to continue if you're interested in this, still wanted to develop your career in the marketing. You have the skills, you have the certificates, you have the master degree. I will continue recommend you to looking for opportunity in the marketing. However, having said that, if you wanted to switch to different role, communication is important for all the positions. So you can use that as a transferable skills.
Okay.
Is any more specific question I can answer, or did that make sense to you?
No, it makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you everyone, and also a big thank you, Yvonne, for such an insightful and informative presentation. Your detailed explanation of RBC's culture and hiring process was incredibly valuable for all of us. Your support of our mentorship program is greatly appreciated. It is incredibly beneficial for our clients to have the opportunity to engage directly with the employers, learn about the business environment, and understand what companies like RBC are looking for in candidates. Once again, thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to future collaborations. Thank you everyone for attending today's workshop.
Thank you for inviting me. Those are all good questions.
Yeah, that's just a good question. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, so everybody, can we have a 10 minutes break, and please come back after 10 minutes. Please come back on 11:10. Okay, so we will continue our workshop today. Okay, the next topic is about the mentoring program for the mentees. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. See you later.